We just saw the another women's march this past weekend, and there's a lot of talk about sexual assault on college campuses. I have with me Vanessa Grigoriadis. Vanessa is a contributing editor at the New York Times Magazine and Vanity Fair. And I wanted to talk to you about the book, Blurred Line, Rethinking Sex, Power, and Consent on Campus. Very, very, very interesting. So I want to get right into that. You say that sexual assault is rampant on college campuses. What is sexual assault?
Well, that's the big question, right? What is sexual assault? So I think what you're seeing in society today is a vast redefinition of this. But typically, we're talking about something where a guy is taking advantage of a girl who is extremely drunk to the point of catatonic, right? To the point of she went to a frat party, she got so drunk, she passed out on the futon downstairs. So we're talking about kind of a Steubenville style case, right? A woman who is passed out, it doesn't matter if you don't have intercourse with her. You just touch her at all, we call that sexual assault, right? And the criminal justice system, they call that sexual assault too.
And who came up with that? That's ridiculous. Who came up with that?
Well, I don't know if I think it's ridiculous, but I mean, I'm talking about passed out like she can't consent.
What do you
That's
mean
the
if you
concept,
What do you
right?
mean if you touch her? Oh, I don't understand. If you touch her,
A touch her on her genitalia or her breasts or something like that.
I got
touch
you.
her shoulder, no, nobody
Okay.
cares. I'm just saying that, like, you know, what I did find is that in the broadening definition, we would include lots of things that aren't like forced intercourse with a gun, right? There are things that are just about the woman not consenting in a really vocal way. It's very confusing. I will be the first to admit that we are talking about redefining these terms right now.
Vanessa, who is there an organization of people who are sitting around in a conference room somewhere redefining sexual relationships between men and women?
No, I don't think so.
Well,
but
who was
I mean,
coming
the
up
big
with these
player
terms?
was the Obama administration, right? I mean, the Obama administration is the first. They were the ones who went in and said, you know what? We want to clean up this sexual assault problem on campus. And everybody said, that's great, because you know what? We know that there is a lot of sexual assault, narrowly defined, meaning girls who are passed out. That is really the one that I come back to, because that's really the one that's happening on college campuses.
Now that
Kids are just not experienced with drinking. But from there, they expanded that definition. Obama's administration definitely did that. And then they told the colleges it's our way or the highway.
Yeah.
And that happened in about 2011.
Now that we know how corrupt Barack Obama's administration was, do you trust them with anything?
No, see, I don't think they're corrupt. I like him, so I disagree with you there. But no, I think they were trying to do the right thing. I think it was an attempt, a utopian attempt at changing kind of sexual relations to make women feel more comfortable and do all these things that were good in terms of saying, you know what? A lot of stuff is not criminal, right? But it is kind of immoral. Taking advantage of women the way some boys do is kind of immoral, and the boys themselves know it, and let's try to clean this up.
But what I'm hearing from
that's hard to do.
what I'm hearing from guys that I've heard over the last 27 years, especially those in universities and colleges around the country, is that these young girls have no morals and they are as bad as the guys are. They're going out getting drunk, they're getting high, and they're coming on to the guys. They're forcing these guys to have sex with them. And then once they overcome the drug or the alcohol, they realize, oh, I had sex last night, and they're just blaming these guys. But it's
Do
mostly
you really
mostly the
believe
girls.
that girls can? Do you really believe that girls can force guys to have sex with them, though?
Yes, I mean
That's the lie.
they don't like force them with a sense of power, but they seduce them, or when they drop, they come on to the guy, they start making out with him, and then the guy goes along with it, and then the girl gets angry the morning after, the night of, and she falsely accuses him.
Right. Well, you know what? There's a lot of people who believe that. Personally, I don't,
Why
but there
not?
are a
Why
lot of
don't you
people who
believe that?
because I think when you look at the cases, I don't think they all hew to that narrative. Like I think that there is rape, there is sexual assault. That's true. That's out there. Then the second thing is, I think that guys have to. What we're trying to say is like it's on the guys. The guys have to, no matter what the girl does, they have to be the bigger one in the situation and say, you know what? You can't even speak English, girl, right now. You are so drunk you can't speak English. I don't care if you're throwing yourself at me. My moral code says I don't have sex with a girl who's that out of her mind on drugs or alcohol.
And so girls don't have to be morally responsible for themselves at all. They can just do what they want, and the guy got to control them. That doesn't make much sense to me at all.
You know, obviously there's a spectrum, and there's an area in which, you know, things are rational. Sometimes girls are at fault. I'm not going to say that that's not true, but in a lot of cases, I think you would probably agree. The man is the one who is stronger, physically powerful, has the genitalia that's going to, you know, do something. The man is in control of the situation physically. So thereby the man should have the moral backbone to say, you know what, I am in control of this vehicle of my body and I will use it for good things and not bad.
I do agree with you that men are mentally, physically, and emotionally stronger than women. But why is it that women are not, in today's world, women are not taught either in their homes or in the educational system to be mentally and emotionally strong as men? In the good old days, they were taught that. Why have they stopped teaching women to be that way? Because women seem to be very weak nowadays, especially liberal women.
I don't think women are weak. I think, okay, first of all, they're getting better grades in high school than boys. Many colleges now are 60-40, more girls there than boys.
I know,
right?
but it's not because they are naturally doing it in the way men do. They have been, there are programs that are set aside and just put women there, like they do with the blacks. They put them there not because they earn it, but because they're not strong enough or intelligent enough to do it on their own. It's like an affirmative action program.
Believe that.
Well, not all women. Mostly liberal women, like the ones we saw at the Women's March over the weekend, they're not intelligent enough to do it on their own. That's why they're constantly creating programs and complaining about men.
Okay, there's no science that backs up that women are less intelligent than men.
Well, why do they complain all the time? Why do they complain all the time then? People who are, men and women who are intelligent and strong, you don't hear them complaining. You only hear the weak.
I think that, okay. I mean, I think that there are people who are protesting Trump's actions who don't like Trump. And if they want to get out in the streets and protest, that doesn't mean that they're not intelligent or something like that. I think you're right that women and minorities have gotten a little bit of a step up. But you know what? Not anymore. Women are not getting a step up.
That's all. No, that's not true. That's all I ever hear. Do
No,
you,
no, no, no. We're done with that. Women are now doing better in school than men. They're taking their studies more seriously. They are going to be more employable after
but
college.
only
You know,
because of sympathy programs,
no,
not
no, no,
because they're
no,
earning
no.
it. They're not
Women's
naturally earning it.
emotional intelligence
No,
is it's going to turn out to be more useful in the corporate
I
environment
totally
than
disagree. I 100% disagree. It's going to turn out to be a mess. Let me take Vanessa.
watch out.
Let me take a quick break. I'm talking with Vanessa Grigoriadis, and she has a book. Her book is Blurred Lines: Rethinking Sex, Power, and Consent on Campuses. Vanessa, how can people get your book?
You can go to Amazon and put in Blurred Lines and my name, Vanessa, and it should pop right up. Or, it's in a lot of bookstores and libraries.
You indicate that nowadays more and more guys are into the idea of verbal consent. What does that mean?
Okay, so, as opposed to just like grabbing the girl in the bar and taking her home, and there's like not much verbal discussion, certainly when the sex starts, what a lot of the colleges are telling kids, and I will admit they are telling kids this, is get some verbal consent. Okay, let's make sure everybody's on board. So, hey, are you interested in going home with me? Hey, is it okay if I kiss you? Particularly in these workplace kind of sexual assault environments, right? The Weinstein situation that we've been seeing, Matt Lauer, blah, 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 blah. I do think it kind of makes sense before you move in to kiss your coworker and end up with a sexual harassment charge at
Right.
your HR department, maybe you should just say, I've been feeling something for you. Can I kiss you? And, if she says no, you're going to be really happy that you asked and you didn't get into some weird sticky situation. So
Well,
that's basically what people are talking about.
well, in that case, the guy should put it in writing, right?
Yeah,
Right.
not a bad idea.
Because if you have to go to that extreme to get with a girl, knowing that she can switch on you at any time, even if she said yes, and she decides the next morning that, no, I didn't say that, how are you going to prove it? So the guys need to carry around some type of contract, and they
Right.
sign it that you agreed to that. That's so ridiculous to me. I don't know what to say about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't really know what to tell you, but if that fear is that real, then you should be asking, because I don't think there are a lot of women who are going to lie the next day after they were asked. Like after they're like,
No.
hey, are you okay if I kiss you? Yes, I'm excited to do that. Yes, I want to go home with you. Then the next day they say, oh, no, I never said that. I never said that.
But they can get angry.
That's not going to happen. This actually works
Most women
for
are
both women and men.
Most women are very emotional, and when women have sex with men, they become emotionally attached to that man. But to the average man, it's just sex, right? And they're ready to move on to the next woman. And now this girl or woman that he had sex with last night is emotionally attached. So down the road, a week later, a month later, or 20 years later, or 24 years later, she may still be emotionally attached to that man, and she can say, oh, he raped me 40 years ago, because he moved on and she was emotionally attached. So it doesn't have to be true.
Okay, logically, think about this for a second. If you believe that women are emotional and will have this attachment, but you know that there's a way to kind of fix this, which is just asking the woman, putting it on her, letting her take the responsibility. Okay, yes, I said yes to this. I really wouldn't go back on my word, because women are moral, and they'll say, I wouldn't go back on my word. I did tell that guy that night. I told him I did want to have sex with him. Even though I feel emotionally attached the next day or 24 years later, I would never say I didn't make that choice, because I did. I verbally made that choice. As a guy, wouldn't you want to take advantage of that?
Well, I would put it in writing. Did you say that women are moral?
Yeah, of course.
No, not true. Most young
All
women.
human beings are moral.
No, that's not true. Most young girls today, from the age of, I would say, 50 down, and not all, of course, but most of them, especially liberal women, and we saw them at that rally this past weekend, the women's rally. Most young girls are not moral today. They are like out of control. And that's why one of the reasons these guys are getting in trouble, because they're dealing with immoral young girls, young women.
No, I don't think that's the case, but I think they have a different kind of morality. I mean, my argument in the book, and I know that this is not everybody's, not everybody agrees with this, is that women have kind of stopped looking at, oh, this is what I should wear to be demure, or this is the kind of music I should listen to. I shouldn't listen to rap music, or I shouldn't get really drunk because that means I'm a bad girl. They're like, you know what? I'm going to do all of that stuff.
That's what makes them immoral.
But I'm also going to have a moral core within which I say I make the right decision.
No, that's a bad idea.
Well,
that's a bad idea. You can't do all those things and be a moral person, whether you're a man or a woman.
But that's what guys do, though, over and over and over. Guys drink to excess. They listen to whatever music they want to listen to. They hang out with their friends. They talk crap about women all the time.
But that doesn't make them more guys.
You want to be like that, too.
That's where the problem is. Women think that men who are doing those things are moral men. They don't realize that those are weak, pathetic men who have no sense of self-control. And so now they're trying to imitate those guys, and they're losing control as well. That's not morality. What do you think of the slut walk? There was a big rally of women who were calling themselves sluts. And they're dressing like sluts and acting like sluts. And they're having sex with everybody like sluts.
Here's the part that you're not understanding. They are doing that because they feel that they have been slut shamed, or that they have. Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you agree that rape exists? Do you agree that that's out there?
Yeah. I know for a fact that women are raping men. There are some women raping men, and there are some men raping women, yes. But it's not out of control as you guys pretend.
Okay, so let's say that there's a rape. Okay, a rape that everybody agrees this is the definition of a rape. That woman then goes to the police. And what do the police say to her? The police may say to her, wait a second, what were you wearing? You were in that bar at 2 o'clock in the morning. You were drunk. How do you even really know you were raped? Maybe you raped him. There's no way for her to actually prove.
Those are good questions. Those are normal, good questions. You want to know both sides of the story. So those questions are great questions, so you can gather all the evidence from the man and the woman, and then you decide what happened.
Yeah, well, you know what? That it's not always used that way. It's not always used as great questions. Sometimes it's used as a way of blaming the woman and being like, look, you're a slut, so nobody could rape you. What's a big deal? So one more penis? Oh, my God, you've had so many. Like that's where that anger comes from women.
We're running out of time. I want to ask you this quick question. I want to have you back because this is so good. Should guys start...
disagree, but,
Let me ask.
I mean, you're a good conversationalist.
Thank you. Let me ask, should guys start reporting girls on these campuses the morning after the night of? Should they run and report the girls just in case the girls are going to report them?
No, they should not, because there's only like 5 girls reporting. When you actually look at the numbers of how many girls report across the entire country of 20 million college students, like 6,000 of them did last year. So it is such a tiny, tiny, tiny percentage. Nobody is falsely accusing you of rape.
So
that
it's
is
not.
Really, really
so
fair.
It's not an epidemic then on campuses.
I didn't say there's not an epidemic of sexual assault. I said there's not an epidemic of false accusations.
Vanessa, will you come back?
Yes, I'll come back.
I'll have you back. Thank you so much. That was fun. All right. Bye now. 888-7753-773. I like Vanessa's attitude about this. She's not like one of those angry mad women about it. I like that.